I'll say this in the academy. So yes, we're talking about emotional and mental self-care, just being conscious of our thoughts, our feelings, and the things that we do externally that affects us internally. And so that's the information that we receive on a day-to-day basis. A lot of us, especially today, we are what's the word, y'all? Inundated with so much information. And I think sometimes we experience overload. I know I do sometimes. There's so many things coming at me. I'm trying to build a business. I'm working with my clients, and my clients are mental health clients, and so there's so much going on. This is where we have to learn to compartmentalize even our thoughts. We can learn to structure and compartmentalize our thoughts so they won't crash, because I know I have experienced traffic in my brain. That's what I call it. When you have so many things running through your brain until you need a moment, you experience that overload. So do you see me, guys?
Yes.
Okay, because I don't see you or I anymore, Kelly. Okay, anyway, as long as y'all can see me. Y'all see me? Okay, that's good. All right, so we had A for a lot of you guys who already answered the first.
We have A and B.
A and B, okay. Practice self-talk to work things out in your mind and build yourself up, which is really, really good. We call it self-talk therapy. And it's funny because years ago, people thought, people were crazy when they was talking to themselves. Or you got those family members, they in the kitchen, like I could picture my mother and my ex-mother-in-law and some grandparents in the kitchen washing dishes, having a full conversation, but they was working stuff out. Doesn't mean it was crazy, but they was thinking out loud, working stuff out. And I said, you know what? They're actually saving themselves from going insane because they've learned that self-talk therapy. Next question, number 2, do you vent, share your feelings, thoughts, and or traumatic events with other people? That could be your therapist, your life coach, a religious leader, family members, friends, as a cathartic activity for emotional letting out or dumping. So you get the chance to release what you're going through. We're not an island, and some people tell themselves, I don't need to share, I don't need to talk, but you do, because it's a way, it's something that God has given us to be able to release emotions. And we need to really learn how to do that. Holding that stuff in, again, it affects your body. One thing affects the other. So how are we doing with this area? For me, well, I can say A. Huh?
Share your screen.
Oh, that's what was, so that was it. Yeah, I was saying, anybody see me? That's what it was. He must have just realized it. Okay. Yep, yeah, must have just realized it, huh? I was like, can y'all see? I knew something was wrong. There we go. That's number 2. I see 10 responses up there.
So you have some A's, can't really trust, but maybe 3 people, and then don't want to burden them.
Yeah, I think we see you, Trace. Kelly's reading some of the responses now. Okay, so what was the last thing you said, Kelly? Don't really want to burden?
So we have C, and then we have someone's comments, it can't really trust, but maybe 3 people, and even then don't want to burden them.
Yeah, sometimes we do feel that way, especially when we think other people have their problems and we don't want to dump on them. That's why it's good if you do have, it don't have to be a lot of people, 1 or 2 people, somebody that can reciprocate that same type of, ear and time with you. Just trying to find those type of people, because it is important. Like I said, there's therapists and stuff as well, but I know that feeling as well, because sometimes I may want to share my friends, because I'm the go-to person, and oftentimes the go-to person sometimes like they don't have a go-to person, and we don't want to burden other people with our stuff as well. So, number 3, do you partake in feel-good activities? That can include reading your Bible, watch favorite movies, going to the gym, roller skating, laugh, talk to loved ones, anything in that category. How are we doing with that?
So I think for the other one, someone says sometimes it feels like it takes less energy to work it out yourself. And then for your next question, you have A's.
Okay, yeah, that's good if you are, good at doing that. But it is good to talk to with other people and bounce things off of, because you never know. Somebody else may have the solution to what you're going through, depending on what it is. And yesterday we talked about those people who have the same belief that we have, them prayer warriors, some people that we can call that even when we don't have the words to say, that we don't always have to talk. They'll just listen to us, cry, scream, whatever we have to do just to release the emotion. So it's not always that the person have to have a combat or a feedback or a comeback with anything. It's just having a person that listens to us. And that's so important. I believe God created relationship, and that's one of the main reasons why he created that, because it wasn't meant for a man to be alone. Okay, so I'll move on to the next one. Okay, continuing emotional, mental health, and self-care. All right. Do we engage in soothing, comforting activities? This is very important. Taking a bath in the jacuzzi, getting sufficient sleep, natural aids we use like herbal tea. I put that in there because that's what I do. That's my everyday thing. I'm the tea lady. Natural things like CBD oils. I just put different oils up there because there's different natural things that God has given us to help us to like be calm and relax, and our nervous system to relax. And we're so busy now. This is why I think this is so important, because we need to get back to that. How are we doing with engaging in soothing, comforting activities?
So we have doing this well and doing okay with this. And we also have a C, we'll get better with sleeping starting Tuesday or Wednesday.
Now, I need to do that myself, but mine is not that I won't go to sleep. It's that I keep waking up too early in the morning. I'm like, it doesn't matter what time I go to bed. I'm popping up either 4, 5, or 6. I'm like, I don't got something to do today. It's crazy. Okay, so that's good. Number 2, this is important. All of this stuff I'm sharing with you guys is what I take my clients through. They usually get an aha moment on this next one. Recognize your own strength, values, success, and achievements, because we do it with other people, but for some reason, some of us do not acknowledge our own strength and achievement. It doesn't mean you're conceited. It doesn't mean you stuck up. It doesn't mean you're bougie. Just that you see your strength and your value. And we need to know this even in our relationships. What do you bring to the table? You should know that. Yesterday, we talked about, when we went to the professional piece, we talked about feeling worthy of asking for fair wages, recognizing our value and our worth, and that we can negotiate like men do. And it's majority women in here, it's all women in here. So I wanted the women to know that, because some women still feel like they have to settle for less. And it's like, no, you don't. If you know your value, you know what you bring to the table. When you go to a job interview, you're also interviewing the director, the company, the culture of the company, the environment. So it's, learning to, know who you are, it really boosts up your confidence. And then you can go in and say, this is what I want to get paid. That's something I had prayed for a long time ago when I didn't have no high school diploma in my 30s. Kelly knows, she's a witness, and Adrian. And I went back to school and started all over again for my GED. And my prayer was, God, I want to be able to be in a position where I can go to a job and go, this is my rate that I want to get paid, because we know our responsibilities financially, our household responsibilities, and you have to factor all of that in. So I just want to throw that in there, because those of you who wasn't here yesterday. So we're doing good with this, Kelly? Strength, value, successes, achievements. I acknowledge mine now. And it doesn't mean you have to always talk about it. Just know that.
So we got some doing this successfully, doing okay with this, need to improve. And we also have a question. How can I get better with that?
Oh, you can journal it. One thing is you can journal down everything you were successful at, or your strength. What do other people, assignment that I give people in my purpose, passion workshop is have people ask those around them. If you have that, family members, friends, co-workers, associates, what do they see in you? I know it may sound like, oh God, I don't want to go around asking people that, but you can let them know. I just want to know, like, what do you see? Because maybe this is something you go through even when you start your own business. You're trying to find an answer to a problem, a solution. So you do a survey and you're asking people, what do they see? What permeates out of your spirit when you come up, around other people? You can also journal when it comes to your successes. Journal your achievements. What have you achieved? Like I just mentioned mine. I finally got my GED. This is all in my 30s and 40s, y'all guys. I didn't have nothing until then. I was doing hair, so I was a licensed cosmetologist, but I had to go back to school after my divorce to continue investing in myself. So I'm like, okay, I went to school, I went to undergrad, I went to grad school. I'm like, that's something I listed, and I started checking it off. That's a good thing. And so we have to learn to even reward ourselves, because we can't always wait for somebody else. This is where the self-esteem piece come in. You need to see your own worth and your own value, and don't minimize it. Don't think, oh, that ain't nothing. No, it is. My GED was a big thing to me because I never thought I would get it. I never thought I would get my GED. It seemed like it's something way afar off. Oh God, I'm older now. I'm probably not going to do well in school. So I had to come against all those disempowering thoughts and feelings, the mental health piece, so I can feel good to take each step at a time. So start doing something, you know, small like that. Kelly, if you have any commentaries, you can add to that, a way to kind of acknowledge your strengths and values. And
you said it all.
I had all.
You nailed it.
So that's the journaling. That's
that
the
was like dropping the mic, walked away.
Asking people. But you know what? If you can do this, see, I'm an imaginatory person. I know a lot of other people imaginative too. I try to step out of myself in a sense. I don't mean a spooky way, but I mean, see myself in a setting and kind of try to watch myself through other people's eyes and try to see what, and I know it's a practice, kind of see what I look like or or listening to myself. This is another way of finding out what your strengths are too and your values. There's a theme that always pop up when you're around. Like for me, example, Kelly and Adrian know this, and Candace now too. I'm always talking about purpose. I'm always talking about helping other people find their passion. It's something that I've done before I even got into this as a life coach. I just had a tendency to always do that. So I would see myself always pushing people. People start telling me what they want to do. I'm like, you better do that. You better get that book out. I told somebody that yesterday, right, Kelly? I said, somebody in this workshop got a book in their belly and they need to get it out. And this is the season while we're on quarantine, for those of us who don't have to work every day, start writing that book. So stuff like that. What do you always feel or see yourself doing all of the time? You just need to write it down and make it plain. Now, that's why I like the book of Habakkuk in the Bible. Write the vision down and make it plain. That's to remind you, and that's to reinforce it, and that's to help hold you accountable to that vision, that dream. So I hope that was helpful.
Yes. And Adrian just said, and she is so proud of you.
Oh, thank you, sis. Y'all was there. Y'all was my witnesses.
on point. Yes, the response was your response was on point.
Okay. Number 3, do you do things that you're passionate about? Do things you're passionate about. Hobbies, join clubs, play games, sewing, knitting, crocheting, painting, braiding, crafting, all that good stuff. Remember, this is all for your emotional and mental health. So this is all to help you feel good and all of that, mentally and physically and emotionally. Because these things add value to our life, add to quality of life. We learn to balance and harmonize things in our life, not just go to work all the time and come home and do housework. We need to engage in other things that help us feel good. And it also allows us to take a break from the mundane things that we do all of the time, and we find ourselves getting bored or sad or anxious or depressed. All those moods and emotions, those mood disorders, we don't want to even claim that. But at least we can recognize that I need to do something different. That's what this self-care workshop is about as well. So I hope it's encouraging somebody to practice more self-care. How are we doing in this area? You see, I threw the braiding in it, right?
We're doing well.
Okay.
We're doing this well, and we need to improve.
Okay. That's cool. That's cool. There's some more things I want to get into. All right. So this is basically talking about how me and Kelly, being in the mental health field, we can kind of identify with how important it is to take care of ourselves and learn how to compartmentalize our mood and our emotions, because we are always working with people who dump on us constantly, you know, all that trauma. And so we have to recognize I need to take care of myself and do my own work, do my own deep breathing, do my own breaks, whatever that looks like, participate in feeling good activities, because we always have to be on 24-hour crisis call all the time. That means somebody can call me 3, 4 in the morning. I have to be ready. So it's like we feel like we have to perform and be ready on the time, on set and scene. So that's why we wanted to share this with other people, because it's important. So it's not like we do this well all of the time, but we practice self-care and we acknowledge that we need to do it. So even if we do overextend ourselves, something says you need to pull back, gather all your thoughts and your feelings, because if we're not good for ourselves, we can't be good to anybody else. I kind of just put that in here, being that we both, Kelly's a therapist, licensed social worker, and a director, and she worked with all kinds of different populations. And so we just gotta be mindful of everything. So this is practicing a little bit of mindfulness. I want to go over these 5 strategies. Some of you may not have even known that some of these was good for helping you to stay calm and delete levels of anxiety or decrease levels of anxiety. So these are 5 easy emotional regulation strategies. When I say emotional regulation, learning how to stay in a calm state, learning how to balance out your emotions. And there's things we can do, like deep breathing we talked about. And still need the workbook, so you'll be able to see. I'm not going to read all of the deep breathing, but it just lets you know that or give you a strategy, which I also have something called the box breathing, where you can kind of breathe slow, 4 to 7 seconds, whatever's comfortable for you, 7 seconds. I do recommend counting because counting, let me back up, because I had a client, Kelly, that I shared this with, and I said, do the counting piece, but I just started working with her and found out that she had some type of OCD where numbers, she's fixated numbers. So I was like, don't do the number piece, because it would stress her out. I said, just do the deep breathing. So she would do the deep breathing, which is very helpful to her system. And she'll deep breathe like maybe 4 to 7 seconds and then slowly release through her mouth. So you're inhaling through your nose, but you're releasing slowly through your mouth, and you're doing the same thing over again. If we can practice this every day, our nervous system will be like supreme. So it's something I have to remind myself to do too, even before I even meet with somebody, or not even just a client, just in a stressful situation, got to be conscious of, okay, let me relax, let me calm down, because if I'm real stressed, I might even perceive information in the wrong way. I might hear something that the person is not saying, but because I'm so stressed out, I got another narrative going on in my head. Does that make sense? Drinking water. There are studies in neuropsychology and psychology that concludes that drinking water actually lessens, combats anxiety, improves concentration. The findings show that when our bodies lack sufficient amount of water, basically dehydration, anxiety can affect our nervous system. So we drink a half of our body's weight of water daily. I'm inconsistent with this. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. Our bodies are made up of 50 to 75% water. Now, a revelation for me when I read these studies, I didn't know, I know water helps to relax the body and nervous system, but I didn't think of it in terms of decreasing anxiety. So that was a good revelation for me. I'm like, oh, I'm going to tell my folks I know to start drinking some more water just for that. The ones I know who battle with anxiety, get that water in there.
And Cheryl, I just want to add, when it comes to the water, if anyone has tried this and you're like, that doesn't do anything, if you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed and anxious, try changing the temperature of the water. Really, really cold water. If you drink that slowly, it kind of puts a shock to your system. So it kind of, you're up here, but the water kind of helps to soothe you and bring you back down.
That's a good point.
People just hear water and they're like, I drink water all day. That don't do nothing. I just get more stressed out because I got to run to the bathroom every 2 seconds. No, we're talking about when you're starting to feel a bit overwhelmed, you want to maybe try it. And some people it's tea, but cold water, I would definitely encourage you to try the cold water. And if you don't want to drink it, even getting a cold compress, because again, it's about the water, and placing it behind your neck, you would feel how it just will start to bring you down a little bit. Yeah,
that's definitely a good remedy, that compress. That was good. I forgot about that cold water shock in the body thing, trying to
use it all the time.
Reset you.
Use it all the time.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, I told everybody yesterday, this makes sense to me, the chewing gum, which I put a little piece in my mouth a few minutes ago. Studies show that chewing gum relaxes you, excites positive emotion, mood, and prevent adverse effects of acute stress. If avoiding sugar and, try the sugar-free gum, do that in there. But I noticed this even within myself. Sometimes you get this burst of energy, chew gum. And I think when I'm reading it now too, it can kind of shift your thoughts. You're focusing on something else, almost like with the deep breathing and counting the numbers or something like that. You kind of distract those thoughts you may be having that's causing anxiety or stress. But I like the fact that it can excite mood and emotions. And that does happen when I chew gum. It's like, ooh, okay. So, Kelly, have anything to add to that?
No, because the gum doesn't work for me.
Okay.
And so I think it's just about real understanding what works for
Right.
The gum doesn't work for me, but getting like a certain piece, like a sweet piece of candy, because
Right.
again, it's about the change in what's going on in your body. It kind of shocks
Exactly.
your system. That's what helps you.
Right. So everybody, I hope you know that everything doesn't work for everybody.
Everybody,
These may
exactly.
be some things that you don't know. But I do know most people I know when they chew gum, and not even anxiety stuff, it's just like I see people disposition even change a little bit when they start chewing some gum, because now you're chewing gum and it does something and you're not focusing on that anymore. But if you're one of those people who really battle with anxiety really heavy, it may not help at all. Using the opposite emotion of what we are feeling. This is something that I use with my clients as well. Now, this is a no-brainer because when we are feeling down or stressed, many of us know that watching a feel-good movie, a show, comedy, we all know this. Well, most of us should know this, comedy or laughing or doing something to distract our current low mood or anxiety, feelings of anxiety or rising anxiety. When you start to feel, I don't mean when you get to the point where you just having heart palpitations and all that stuff, but you can feel anxiety sometime when you know your body starts to rise up. If you can at that moment do something to distract, like let's say if there's a thought that you're fixated on, you're ruminating on a thought, a negative something, and it's causing you to feel anxious, try to do something that gives you the opposite feeling. So that's why I threw in the laughing, the comedy. This is what I do too. Find a good show to watch. Kelly got some shows that seem therapeutic to her. One is really strange, but I'm like, okay, I get it.
Which one is strange?
The Simpsons.
Oh, so much.
I was trying to correlate.
I'm over it. I'm not. The Simpsons don't work for me no more.
I was trying to figure out for a while. Like, I wonder what about it that gives everybody's different. What makes it therapeutic? That's interesting.
No judgment.
No, it's not. I was trying to analyze. I was trying to assess.
Yeah. But you know what it is too? The thing about The Simpsons was that it did not make sense. You know, nothing about it was realistic to me. And so I am on, like you said, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Right.
It's really hard for my mind to shut off. And so I know I need something to distract me and to get me away from feeling whatever I'm feeling. And for whatever reasons, The Simpsons used to be something that would actually catch my focus. And I would just look at what was happening about it. I wouldn't be analyzing it because I'm that person. Every situation, everything I see, I'm automatically analyzing.
That's what.
For whatever reason, The Simpsons, I could just look at it and it was just, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
That's why it worked for me at that particular time. Now I'm not really even interested in that show anymore.
Yeah.
But it definitely works because it changes the shows that can give me whatever it is at that particular time, because what we go through in our life changes. You know, our mood, even though it feels like nothing has changed, something is changing. There's always some type of shift that we don't recognize. And so what may work 2 days ago or even a year ago may not work today. And it's about finding out what that is. And I'm Cheryl, I just wanted to ask you if you can elaborate and give an example, because Tracy did ask for an example of number 4. Give like a specific example for number 4. That's the one that we're doing now.
Okay, because I was going to finish reading and get to that. And I was going to ask you guys, what do you do to kind of distract your own mind? So an example of, with some of them there, like if I'm feeling a little, with this whole pandemic thing, I've been up and down because I've lost 6 family members due to COVID-19. I have my days where I've cried. Adrian is here with me. She had to come down and Imani and just hug me because I lost one of my close cousins. And I got people in New York dying, people in my home church in New York that me and Kelly was members of, and people up there are dying. And it's like, oh my, it's so much. And I was telling my clients, because then on top of that, before I get to what I do, I have a client who lost 12 family members. So he's calling and texting me, and I'm like, what about me? And so again, I have to be ready, because that's a crisis situation, but I have to acknowledge my own crisis situation. So what I've been doing, I've been binging. Like there's some shows I binge on that makes me feel good, like Till Death. I can't even name one right now.
Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yep, that's one. I love Kev on Stage. For those of you who may not know, he's a Christian, a comedian who happens to be Christian. Him and his wife, they have podcasts. I listen to podcasts, things to feed my soul, listen to gospel music, jazz. So all that stuff that some of us do, but we don't realize that we can use it as a coping mechanism to kind of distract those thoughts. So like Kelly mentioned about the sentence, you don't have to think. These are things that I don't have to think about. Like I wouldn't watch a psychological thriller probably if I'm really feeling down, because I like psychological dose, because I like to think. I'm investigative, like, well, I wonder how. But if you need to shut your brain off, do something that gives you a different feeling. Naturally, if I'm watching a feel-good movie, something that makes me laugh, like comedy, that's the opposite feeling of feeling down and feeling low, or feeling stress and anxiety and thinking about things. Even today, like my daughter's out working on a set. She's being, but my mind went for a minute to, the physical distancing. They can't practice it, but so much. And so I'm like, as a mother, I'm like, oh my God, I really don't want her around anybody, because
I'm going through it too, because she posting. I'm sitting here stressing like,
right. So it's like, guys, it's like, it's traumatic for us to hear about death every day. That's not our normal. This is not a normal situation unless we live in those countries where they're at war all the time and they always constantly bombing. Your body, again, is being affected by all of this. All that we see social media. It's like every day I see somebody pass. That's not healthy. And so I'm acknowledging that. So I have to do something, even taking a break from social media or whatever, even I'm on it for business and other things. But some of the information, I may not watch the news, or when I get notifications that number 45 is going live, because sometimes I like to stay on top of stuff, and other times like, I can't do it today. I just can't do it today. So I hope that was kind of helpful. Anything that makes you feel different than what you're feeling, that makes you feel better for that moment. Sometimes you have to just take that quick break. Even if it's something you have to deal with, when you take that break, you may even be able to become so relaxed that you start thinking of a solution or something to help the situation.
Adrian shared, The Office did it for me in 2012 when my job was bananas.
Oh, that's my daughter's show, The Office. I thought it was the stupidest thing when it first came on, and then I fell in love. I was like, what are they doing? I'm like, I'm trying to find a rhyme and a reason, and like, would it make sense? The logic. We're just in the office, just chilling. I wanted somebody to kind of put in the chat room, if they want to, what do they do when they want to kind of change the way they feel and they're in a good mood and they need to kind of distract their thoughts? Do anybody have any remedies that they use? Maybe somebody else can glean from that.
2 nights ago, when I was stuck on my paper, I watched an episode of The Office. I needed a throwback, laugh out loud. Candace works in her yard.
That's good.
So Adrian still watches The Office, and Toya reads.
And that's another thing, that reading, we talked about that yesterday. Yeah.
Oh, I like this. Candace says, or she goes get an ice cream cone.
Exactly, right. See, all that stuff that make you feel good for that moment. If you gotta have some
aromatherapy.
Okay.
Tracy said aromatherapy.
Awesome.
And let me just add, there's a lot of, and one of the good things about this day and age of this technology is that there are a lot of apps. So sometimes if you're feeling extremely overwhelmed, can't think of what to do, there are a lot of apps that can do different things, breathing exercises, meditations, meditation music, like Tracy just put in the chat room. There's so many different things that you can do, and even some of the apps which are interesting, you can program your phone. And so sometimes we know how our day is going to go. If we know what we have planned, you can set the alarm to let you know that, okay, I have this meeting, and usually after this meeting, I'm a little stressed. So your alarm will go off, and it will remind you, okay, time to do this breathing exercise, or time to do X, Y, and Z. So, please take advantage of all those things that we have, because I always say that it's better to be prepared, because when you're in that, when you're feeling whatever that is, the anxiety or your body response period, you may not be thinking clearly to say, okay, what can I do? But if you have these things already prepared ahead of time, then your mind will you start to train your mind. Oh yeah, let me look at my phone, and then that reminder will come up. And even with the iWatches, that's what it's called, the Apple Watches and the Samsung Watches, at certain points in the day, it'll say like, remember, take a deep breath. Like, stop whatever you're doing and take 10 deep breaths. So it's great to have all this technology. We should just utilize it to help us in our everyday life. Tracy says she also listens to affirmation videos.
Okay.
And so does Adrian.
All right. Yeah, we got access to a whole lot today. That's the good thing. I was going to say something, but it kind of skipped my mind real quick. But yeah, all of the above. So we know taking walks is real therapeutic too. Again, we have heard from medical and mental health, nutritional and fitness professionals about how exercise, including walking, is good for our overall health, right? Because it's good for the heart, but also it decreases our stress level. Walking helps to reduce anxiety, causes our blood to circulate, gives us a chance to think rationally, sort out problems by immediately removing ourselves from a toxic, stressful, and unpleasant situation or environment. This allows us the opportunity to self-calm and become emotionally regulated enough to think clearer enough to problem solve. I incorporate walk and talk therapy in my sessions with my clients to relax and help them feel better about engaging, and it reduces their stress levels as well. And that's when I get all the juicy information that I need, because we're walking. They don't see it as like a session per se. You know, it's like they're relaxed, they're calm, we're building trust. So this is a whole strategy we can utilize for ourselves. You know, I took a walk yesterday after we did the self-care workshop. Kelly, I think, relaxed and went to her bed because she needed that rest, that sleep. So guys, do we take walks? Do we do exercise? Of course, fits in here. A lot of people know exercise helps to release some stress. And I'm going to move on to the next one. I think, okay, after this piece, Kelly's going to do the next section. This is a quick reference guide for maintaining emotional health. Reminder that dopamine, the body's ability to calm down, self-soothe the brain, and block pain. Sorry guys. Now I got to go back. Where was I? Okay. I'm trying to slide this out the way. Dopamine is said to also originate from amino acid, folate, and iron. It's chemical by our cells and is responsible for maintaining a healthy balance of emotions, mood, and the lack of serotonin is said to lead to depression. So we got to remember that. See, all them good feeling activities I mentioned before, it helps to increase these good emotions, these good hormones, so that way we can have the opposite feeling of, or either slow down if you feel like impression or anxiety trying to come on. If like Kelly said, if you train your brain or train yourself to do other things and you have other strategies, these are tools, guys. All these things we mentioned, they are tools that people need to have to kind of help them offset a lot of this stuff. And I think sometimes we forget that we can naturally do this because we live in an addicted society today, that medicine is like the answer to everything. Push that button, get that pill. So we forgot the God-given ability that our body has to calm down itself. Look at this. All this dopamine and serotonin, that's God-made. That's not science. It's science according to the physiological body that God created, but it's not meds. It's not anything toxic. It's something that we can learn to do. And we've got a lot of us gotten away from all this stuff because, again, medicine has kind of like took over everything. And so we forget that. So a proven fact, number one, because it is factually, physically, and psychologically proven that one of the initial things that people tend to do when experiencing anger, stress, and rising anxiety is to slow down or stop their normal rhythm of breathing, lowering a healthy amount of oxygen that helps the brain function well in terms of having cognitive clarity, thinking clearly, and the ability to recall and remember. So it affects our memory. Proven fact number two, another scientific, neurological, and physiological finding is that during anger outbursts, stress, and low emotions such as experiencing depressive mood that we all may experience, such as feeling sad due to loss, hurt, disappointment, abandonment, and of course depression and clinical depression, affect our short-term memory. Short-term memory causes temporary impaired short-term memory loss. So in the workbook, there's some hyperlinks on here where you can find the information. So that was the mental piece. This in the workbook. I just talked about emotional health and leadership because it's important for those leaders out there to be aware of what's going on in your spirit. And I put this there because a lot of times I've worked with leaders, and because I see sometimes things that they have not worked out. There's open wounds that they have not worked out, or they, now we're getting therapy, which is a good thing. We're learning to get therapy, even within the church. However, I've seen leaders have a meeting or even do preach a sermon, but anger is coming out of their spirit because there's trauma there. And I'm like, we leaders, we're supposed to be examples of practicing, not that we're perfect, but practicing. It's almost like the Bible. Christians or believers, I think most people here are Christians. We practice the word of God every day. We falter sometime, we deter sometime, but it's something we work out every day. The scripture says, work out your soul salvation with fear and trembling. So it's something that we work out. That's what makes us different. It doesn't mean we do everything right 100% of the time. All right, so I'm going to unshare my screen and let Kelly share hers for the social connection piece. I hope you guys got some nuggets out of that part. Social connections.
Social connections, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have everything. Oh, what just happened?
You went to number 1, but it's okay. Like I did.
Sorry.
Yep, social connection is so important. Okay, so there's the next one after this. Oh, after all.
Yeah, but you guys are in the way. I don't know what happened.
Let me go to the chat.
I had it fixed. Okay.
The chat room. It was helpful. Thank you, Candace. Good stuff. Tracy said. Toya said yes, thanks. Adrian said yes, sure did. Oh, that might be an answer to something. All righty.
Okay. Oh, see, this is us. You want me to read this?
Yes, you can.
Results from most studies show that people with strong social relationships increase their odds of survival over a certain time period by 50%, the researchers say. And that got taken from Mayo Clinic 2019 and Live Science 2010. This is social connecting. So hanging out with friends, family members, and networking groups that are conducive to your values, beliefs, and lifestyle is healthy. And so I just want to share, like, this is I think a perfect picture, because one of the things that used to help me when Cheryl lived in New York was just when I felt overwhelmed and I just felt like a lot was going on, or I just was feeling, I couldn't really describe how I was feeling. I just know that I wasn't feeling like myself. One of my favorite things to do was to just go over to Cheryl's house and just sit on her couch. We wouldn't have to interact. We wouldn't have to have any deep conversations. I didn't have to dump and say, well, this is what I'm feeling, I don't know. But it was just being in that space with someone who you feel comfortable with that's like-minded as you. That helps you relieve anxiety, stress. It really does make you feel. So I don't know if Cheryl realized that when she did that picture, but this is a perfect example of it, because it really does work. I'm not just talking about it because this is what people say. This is something that I've actually experienced for myself. And it doesn't have to be a friend, but it could just be a different space or a different place in your home. The beautiful backyard that we just saw, Candace's beautiful backyard.
That was therapeutic. I was like, I want to be there.
I saw the backyard and I was like, oh, like I'm completely relaxed. And so it's just about being in a space that that makes you feel comfortable and relaxed.
Yes.
Okay, so the first question is, how often are we spending time with like-minded individuals and groups you enjoy? A lot of times, especially with working, especially now that a lot of us still have shelter in place going on. I don't know what state everybody is in. You may not be in a space with people who you enjoy being around 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So is this something that you're able to do? Because sometimes it just may mean shifting your space. Now, if that means that, today I'm only going to be in the room with this particular person because the other people are sending my anxiety a little up, or my tolerance level at this point is low. Even with children, for those that have children that are home, removing yourself from that space. So how many people are just being very mindful about, this is important. I need to make sure that I'm spending time with individuals that I enjoy.
So far, we got a whole lot of A's going on here, which is great.
That's great. That's working on it. And it's a shame. I still actually have to go to work every day. And when I come home, my son is working from home. And so, I do enjoy my son, but it's like I'm always on. And so I myself even have to work on this sometimes. So it's great that everybody right now is at an A. So the next one is keeping in touch with friends, relatives, or others you care about. And, one of the other good things, and I don't want to focus this on the pandemic, but I think one of the good things about this is it just reminds us the importance of reaching out. And, I'm kind of going to pick on Cheryl again. Cheryl is a big, call me, I want to hear your voice, and so, I'm an introvert. So for me, I'm gonna send you a text message. I'll send you an email. You're not gonna hear from me every day, but it doesn't mean that I'm not thinking. But it's also very therapeutic for me. And I've realized that in this time, even if it's just to make that phone call, to just say, hey, how you doing? Let me tell you what happened in my day. It really does make a difference. And so, you know, it doesn't have to be verbal all the time. It could be through email. It can be through text message. Everyone is doing the Zoom parties, the virtual parties nowadays. They have all the different apps where you can connect with people. And sadly, a lot of people think that because we're in this pandemic, that means that we cannot reach out to people and we can't keep in touch. We just have to restructure the way that we're keeping in touch. So how many people are doing, how are we doing with this?
A, some C's, wait for some more responses. What can, oh, okay, she answered me. Oh, yes, yes, and yes, introvert. You would never think Ken is an introvert, but she had that side. I think she's ambivert.
Yeah, I think I'm going to ambivert now, but let me tell you, if I had that backyard, you ain't never seeing me. I'll be out there like everything.
Oh my God.
I understand that.
Tracy,
and it's okay, you know, and again, with needing to improve, I even recognized during this time that this is something I need to improve on. And so even changing the way that I communicate with people. So it's okay, it's a work in progress. And this is why I love this assessment that Cheryl has created. Networking with new people, circles, friends, join Facebook groups, meeting business groups, mastermind classes, groups, etc. This self-care assessment group right here that we have going on, just meeting with new people. One of the things, you wanted to keep the chat open so that the people who participated in this group can, you know, if they wanted to connect and talk with each other, they can do that. And there are a lot of things going on nowadays. So this is an opportunity for us to, you know, reach out if somebody says something that you're like, oh, wow, I could probably connect with that person. Or, oh, yeah, I want to know a little bit more. You know, how many of us are actually taking that step to say, this is the time for me to try to build these new connections. So how are we doing with this?
A. That's all I see so far.
Oh, wow.
Some was still answering that extrovert, introvert thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can talk about that.
Okay, but Toya, I've been involved in several groups and classes. That's awesome. I can tell, Toya, by your online behavior that you engage in group activities. That's a good thing. That's really good.
Yeah,
I know some people, Kelly, they don't have any supports. They don't have the friends and a relative piece. And so I encourage them, go online. Social media is not bad. It's your behavior on social media, other people's behavior on social media, but I don't put foolishness up there. And I will attract people who are like-minded because we share something in common. So I tell them the same thing. You can go and find group on everything. There's somebody who feels like you, who's experiencing what you're experiencing. So even the meetups, there's a lot that you can find. You just got to kind of come out of your introvertness a little bit more, take a little step and try to find some groups up. Maybe you find a group of introverts like you.
Yeah, and like you said, especially with social media, there are a lot of groups. And one of the things, especially when we talk about self-care, it's about recognizing what you need at that particular time. So I actually have a bunch of different groups because, you know, I grew up old school. You don't have a lot of friends. You know, my family was like, that's not your friend. But mommy, my friend, no, that's not your friend. So because of that, you know, that has been ingrained in me. I don't have a lot of people who I call my friends. I have more associates. And so because in my mind, that's who those people are, the way that I communicate with them will be a little bit different. But I also have a lot of different things going on in my life. You know, I have a group with just my therapist friends. So when it's therapist things that I'm dealing with, they will understand that. And I may need that type of support, or even just to look in to see what they're dealing with. If you have any ailments, there's a group for every type of ailment you can think of. So whatever your symptoms may be, you can find a support group with someone who may be just sharing, they're going through the same. And sometimes just even, you don't have to always be an active participant in all of these groups, but it's a nice thing to have. So depending on, like, again, what you're feeling, you can just say, well, let me check in and see what's going on over here. And because maybe there's someone else that's going through the same thing as I am, and just reading about it, not to say misery loves company, but just to see that you're not alone, it also kind of helps you through whatever it is that you're going through.
That was excellent.
So collaborate on, oh, wow. See, this is a setup, Cheryl. Collaborate on projects or form partnerships to make things easier, grow, learn, or lighten the load. And I said that's a setup because, you know, I am the behind the scenes person. I have always been very involved in every, however, I've always done it behind the scenes. Yes. And so, thanks to my sister Cheryl here, you know, bringing me out to the forefront to collaborate differently on projects, it has also been therapeutic for me. It also helps give me a platform, because if not, then I would be in my introverted self someplace right now, away from everybody. And, you know, that's not always the healthiest thing to do all the time. So is this something that we're doing well, or how are we doing with this?
So far, we got a C and a B. I feel a shift coming on, a reset.
Yes, yes, me too.
God is about to shift. Okay, so we got Toya said B, Adrian said A. If Tracy responds to this question, I see a C. If that's an old one. Tracy, you can confirm if C is your answer for this question. I think she got B or A in here. Candace said okay. B. Mm-hmm.
And again, this is the partnership. And so just like communicating here in the chat box with each other, you know, again, we can utilize that as a way, or taking that step out to involve and participate in all of these groups. So, you know, it's a work in progress. Sometimes we may think that we're not doing it to the full extent that we are, but we may be doing a little bit better at this than we think, right?
That's why a lot of us got A and B on here now. Mm-hmm. So I usually end up being the leader or having people rely on me. Girl, I know that feeling.
Oh, me too. Oh, I know what that's like.
You can identify with your feeling.
And it's interesting because what happens as a result of that sometimes is that when you do certain things, now you become quiet. Because you're like, you know, it's always about, I always have to do everything, but I came here because I need something also. And so this is where it's good to go back to finding like-minded people and being around other, you know, whether it be through other groups or whatever it may be. So we know this is going to happen. So if you're in the mood for it, you participate in something where that's going to happen. And when you're not, then you go to those groups with other people who are tired of end up having to be the leader in things. And so it gives you a moment to kind of step back and just be.
That is so true.
Okay, so number 2, spend time outdoors with your spouse or significant other.
Well, I got that yet. My daughter, friends and family members for me, and that fit in it too.
And yeah, and if you don't have it, it could be friends or family. And you know, again, Cheryl has said this already, just going outside is important. When you was talking about just taking a walk as one of the emotional regulation strategies, I always think of on TV when people are arguing or people get upset, or even if you go to training programs, they're like, you take a walk. Right. Changing your scenery, sometimes it helps. When you're very upset, you know, it's not literally taking a walk and going outdoors, but it's sometimes you need that change of scenery that helps. If you're inside and you're agitated, when you step outside, you feel a little bit of a difference. It may not be a huge difference, but there is some type of a slight difference in how you're feeling. So if you pay attention to that, and then you start to walk, or maybe you'll realize that you start to calm down a lot quicker than if you would have sat in that same space. And I think it's the same thing about spending time outdoors. If you don't have a spouse or significant other, you know, take that time out, go outside and talk to a friend, go for a walk around in your neighborhood, whatever that may be, talk to that person on the phone. It will still help you.
That's right. We have some non-applicables here. Somebody said, I'm going outside for about 30 minutes on Monday. Oh, shucks, that's tomorrow. Oh my God.
Listen, and going outside don't mean you got to go into the stores, because let me tell you, when I come in from work, I'm here. I'm not going out. And if I do, it's because I have to make a run. Like I'm gonna make a run when I leave after this is over, but I go to point A and I rush back in. But if you have a house and you have a yard, then go in your yard. You know, sometimes we think that also means that we have to go out somewhere. Right. No, just physically be outside. Step outside. If you're in an apartment building, stand outside the door. You know, step in the doorway if you can. Just step outside. That's all. We don't want not everybody taking COVID seriously. So that can also bring anxiety. So you just want to make sure you put yourself in a space where, you know, you probably won't have to see too much of that.
When she said, I like to stand in the window and call the house, Adrian is funny. She was like, go outside. Adrian haven't been outside much. You need some vitamin D. Because, you know, African Americans, we deficient of vitamin D. Anyway, she'll go to the window and go, all right, I went outside. I'm like, what kind of a
Come
fool?
on, and now Adrian could go in the backyard.
That's what I'm making her go out tomorrow, cooking out on the grill. She's coming in the backyard.
In the backyard. Nobody else is going to space, social distancing, and hold some Lysol if you have to. Whatever makes you feel better, you know. And it's interesting. So, you know, especially we're kind of joking about it, but I have one of my staff. People laugh at her because they say when she walks down the street, she looks like the person like when the nuclear people are coming, like there's been some hazardous material, because she has to travel by public transportation. So she has on a long trench coat, and over that she has on a yellow slicker. She has a yellow shower cap on her head. Underneath that is hot. Sweat is pouring down her face when she walks in, and she has a mask, and she has everything down to here. And we maybe look at that like, oh my gosh, this is a little much. And so when I speak with her, she's like, you know what makes me not get anxious and be stressed out when I walk on the street and travel to work is that I know I'm protected dressed like this. So it's whatever makes you feel comfortable. It may be crazy to somebody else, but if that's what you have to do, that it makes you feel comfortable and put your anxiety at ease, do it. Who cares what people think? So we're going to give Adrian some Lysol so she can spray the air.
I'm trying to get Tracy back in. Some reason she said she's not able to get back. Video is, let me see. Oh, that was a response.
So I unlocked her. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
I locked the thing. Is she in?
Good, I was about to go. Okay, let me see. Let me see if are you?
No, she's not here.
No.
Tell her to try to get back in now.
I'm texting her. Try it. Oh no.
You may have to unlock it on your side also.
Okay, I am. Now I'm getting these other people who wants to come into the group. Are y'all still going? Okay. Let me see.
Okay. So I unlock. So you can, if you know who they are, this unlock it on your end.
Okay, wait. I'm trying to remember how to get to the unlock piece.
Security.
Oh, there we go. There we go. I see it. No, her name was down there. I had to put hover my thing over. Okay, someone else may try to come in too.
Okay.
Let me tell her to try again too. Y'all people coming to the block party late now.
Yeah, because I locked it because a lot of the unfortunately
I'm glad you
have a lot of trolls. And when even though we had the waiting room, you should have seen all of them that we took out. They all
I was hearing when I was over there.
The waiting room.
Oh my gosh. Kimberly, are you with us still? I haven't seen any interaction from Kimberly. Okay, I told Deetra to try again. That's one of my friends. She lives in Maryland, Northern Virginia. She said she was locked. So let me see if she tried to come back in again.
Yeah, because we both unlocked it.
We almost getting through this, guys. We almost near the end.
Okay, so let me go to number 3 while we're waiting.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the third one is connect with friends and family members on social media, telephone, and visits. How are we doing with this? And I know everyone's having those virtual parties, Zoom parties, Google Teams, although Zoom is not being too cooperative with us for the past couple of days. But it is definitely a good platform. If you have an Apple phone, the FaceTiming is great. How are we doing with this? Are we doing well? Are we doing okay? Do we need to improve, or are we not doing it at all?
Okay, she's in. Okay, we got, I don't know which one was this answer. I see A and C.
Okay.
A and C.
So we're doing well and we need to improve. Yeah, definitely. And we want to remember, we want to, check on the elderly and those that can't come out during this time. We don't want to forget to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes doing things for others, what we said in a few of the other one of the other chapters, that's a good form of self-care. That volunteer, that service, it makes you feel good. You don't do it because you want to feel good, but it just does something for you.
That's right. Oh,
Doreen is in the.
I just admitted her.
Okay.
I just admitted. You admitted into the self-care clinic.
And now we are back to Cheryl.
Let me share my screen. Thanks for joining in, guys, who just coming in. I got to mute. Doreen, got to mute your video.
We're muting everyone's video and volume.
Thank you, sis. Okay, you got it, Cal?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, we did this part, right? Social connection. Let me move on. Oh, this is that white screen. It's hard to even see.
So for those that just came in, if you have any comments, we're asking everyone to comment in the chat box. That's how we're communicating. So we've muted and everyone's video and recording.
So one of my favorite pieces is, and we almost talked a little bit about it. We're doing this. This is a self-esteem, self-care assessment, building confidence, self-concept, core belief, imposter syndrome. I don't know if you recognize that lady in the image.
Who that?
With my same hairstyle. Okay, now this is very important, guys. I had to learn this first one in my younger self, and I become way better at it. Learn to say no to avoid feeling obligated, like a puppet, or devalued or ignored. Because when you don't learn to say no, again, this affects your self-esteem. This affects your core self. You feel disempowered because you have not learned to say no. I had to learn to do this in my 20s, or well, my latter teens and my 20s, because I was one of those people who almost wanted to kind of please people. I don't like confrontation. So the core me don't like negative confrontation. I can have productive arguments, you know, not smack down, drag down type stuff. If you're like that, that's what I'm gonna use avoidance that we talked about earlier. Cheryl's gone for a moment because I don't do the back and forth thing unless it's productive, where we are listening, practicing those good listening skills and trying to have an attitude of trying to understand each other. But when I already discern that you're just here to be combative, I don't do that. But I've had to learn to say no. It's okay to say no. You have to tell yourself that. You know, because I would feel bad that I didn't. I used to always think about other people's feelings. Now that's a good thing. Remember earlier we talked about finding things, good things within yourself, your values, your strength. I saw that as a strength, that I am considerate of other people's feelings. That's a good thing. However, I have to learn to balance it and go, I don't have to overextend myself, you know what I'm saying, to people, because that's not healthy neither, because now I'm neglecting how I really feel. And so I'm repressing emotions and feelings. That's going to affect your self-esteem. So how are we doing in this area? Some of you probably real good with this, but I had to work through it. I'm good now. And no don't have to be no, huh? For me, I would say successfully. No, I would say.
So we have some successful. We have between a B or B and C, depending on who it is and what it is for.
Okay. Okay. That's right. What it is for. Okay, number 2. Oh, do I need to weigh a little bit more? I think some more came.
I'm still working on this. I'm still working on this.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm between A and B. Because sometimes you feel that core self coming up like, because you have a propensity or tendency to say yes. And then I have to do the self-talk we talked about earlier, guys. The self-talk there and go, Cheryl, you don't need to say yes to this. Because I start thinking about the scenarios. If you do this, this is what's going to happen. So I do the self-talk in my head, and then it empowers me to say, no, I can't do that. Number 2, talk.
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So
what we got?
Tracy was asking, how do you get better? And you did kind of say it. Did that help, Tracy, or do you need her to expand a little bit more?
While you said that, I just thought about an exercise you can try. It just popped in my head. You can practice saying no, and imagine, you know, like with my clients again, we do these scenarios. Kelly, we do these scenarios, or these what we call behavior rehearsal. So you're practicing a type of behavior response before a situation even happens. You practice it at home. It's not a crazy. This is how people work stuff out. And actors and actresses do it all the time. But you know, we do the behavior rehearsal with our clients where we say, okay, we present a scenario and say, if this person says A, B, C, and D, how are you going to respond? And then we teach how to respond assertively, because assertive and aggressive are 2 different responses. So that's another thing. Some of us have to learn to say no, be assertive. Assertive means you're not being aggressive and angry with it. You just know how to say no, considering the other person's feelings. Like, no, I'm not going to be able to do that. you know, but thank you, appreciate you, whatever, whatever. That's assertive because you're still saying that you're not going to do it, but you're doing it with the intent to have peace. Aggressive is just like, no. Now, there may be times, let me back up. There are some situations where you might have to say no that way, but you guys know who that is. It could be a person that's plugging at you, or you need to delete out your life, and no means no. That's when you need to be aggressive. No means no, mister. Anyway, how we doing with this? We said we doing,
we have someone said diplomacy. It took me a few years to be consistent. Toya said, no is a complete sentence. Do not try to explain it. Just let your no be your only and final answer. And that's what you said. Sometimes we don't need to elaborate on everything.
Yeah.
And we have agreement. Yes, there may be times that, you know, sometimes you just got to press the mute button.
And
you don't need to hear nothing else. There's nothing else. I like that.
Look, the Bible says, let your nay be nay and your yay be yay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a complete sentence. That's real good, Toya. Okay, tell yourself. Now, this was something that was really interesting when we did it in the last self-care thing a week ago. Practicing tell yourself that I love me. How many people tell yourself you love yourself? Because sometimes we don't do that. Why does this thing seem like it's got darker? Is my thing plugged up there? Is it on? Oh, God. Let me see. I'll be back. Oh, no. How? Be good, though. We didn't go off. I just saw it get a little dim. I'm back. My light tried to get a little dim.
So you got
okay. Tell yourself I love me. Practice.
So you have some people need to improve. Again, I've learned not to apologize for feeling or saying it out loud in caps to me.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I could say I'm A too.
Yeah.
I tell myself. And some of us need to learn to do that. Some of us didn't grow up in a household where we was taught to do that. I kind of was, you know, acknowledging, you know, like I said, our values and our strength, but a lot of us didn't. We didn't have that type of environment that we grew up in, and it was okay to do that. There's nothing wrong with telling you. And it may feel uncomfortable for those of you who may not have practiced that. But, you know, I say it all the time. I love me. You know, because none of us are perfect. There's nobody perfect at all. So we need to throw that out the window, because now that becomes an excuse when people go, well, I'm not perfect. None of us are. None of us are. But you're still valuable. And you need to tell yourself you're valuable. This is another way to build up your self-esteem. You need to learn how to love yourself. And again, when you love yourself and you build confidence, you start to attract confident people. And least you attract confident men, because men are attracted to confidence. Can I get an amen?
Yeah, so we have a few comments I just want to share with you. Good. So we have practicing not to be so hard on yourself. Self-talk really helps. One person is not doing it well at all. Mm-hmm. And so then it was shared. So, and Deetra said, Tracy, I say it first thing in the morning, which is actually one of the things that I was going to say. That's actually an activity I do with my clients, to have them look at themselves and say it in the mirror, especially when you're starting to do it, because it's a little uncomfortable.
Right.
But the way that you feel afterwards, once you start to do it on a consistent basis, you see that it makes a world of a difference. And the other thing that I've shared previously was, you know, one of the things that's great is to do a positive affirmation board, or to just post things around. So the first thing that you see when you wake up in the morning may be, I love me. So when you wake up and you see that, the first thing that's on your mind when you wake up in the morning is, I love me. And then you can elaborate on that. So then you have someone commented, Toya commented, you need to love yourself. You need to first love yourself effectively before you can others. And so her answer is A. And Doreen said we need to stay away from comparison. That will help a lot, which is also really, really true.
Absolutely.
Put something on. Deetra's on it. Put on something that you like, and you like how it looks on you. Get in the mirror, smile about it, and say, I love me. That's it. That's self-esteem. And I really do. I tell that to my clients all the time. You know, when you wake up in the morning, get dressed. You know, when it makes a world of a difference. Put on that makeup if you're into makeup, do your hair, and, you know, just feel confident about yourself. Love on yourself. It really does make a difference when you take those additional steps. If you're still in your pajamas and you're like, it's a little bit harder. But once you start to put on something you like and you know it look good on you, it changes your whole attitude.
See, that's right. We talked about that one of the, like I said, a week ago, we talked about doing practice, and it may feel like Kelly said, slow in the beginning. We talked about it yesterday too, getting up, getting yourself together. But once we were out, it felt so good. And now it's getting warmer, feeling the sun and outside. And we talked about it too, you know, even doing these Zoom sessions and all these meetings. And of course, the great thing is we don't have to dress up for all of them. But some of us that may be in that slump mode, like Kelly said, you start to put on, do your hair. If you're a man, you groom yourself. Put some clothes on. It can change and alter your mood, definitely. Then now you feel engaged, and now you want to say something. I see some blinking. This much I can move on.
Yeah, Deidre is making comments in the box, but it's similar to what I said.
Okay.
So they can read.
Number 3, do you hang around individuals who love you and reciprocate good deeds and add value to your life? And if you have those who do not add value to your life, I don't know about you, but right now, I discern what everybody's purpose is in my life. What is your intent? I'm intentional about that. Why are you here? And that's not always asking them. I'm asking God, okay, why are they here? What's the connection? What's the purpose? And the same thing I would do if I meet somebody in the future that I, you know, want to court. I'm all about believing that our lives, our journeys should interconnect. Like, what do you complement? How did this person complement your life? Do they add or take away? You need to be the judge of that. And if they keep depleting from you and they make you feel bad, you're going to have to reassess all of that and find a way. And it's not easy, I know, because you have relationships and emotions and connections with people. It's not easy to just delete them. But sometimes I've done that. Other times, you know, God is good too, because you can pray about stuff and things that you can't do. And I'm a witness to this. Things that areas I was weak in or maybe passive in, I would rely on him and he'll just move them out my life. Mm-hmm. We need to allow him to do that. Sometimes we don't, because we try to fix everything. But some things are out of our control. God, I need this person removed. They bring stress. They cause me to feel uncomfortable about being myself. And he has a way to remove them out of your life. So how are we doing with this here?
So we got some A's. We have a lot of comments. You have, I've gotten super duper selective. You are the onlyest one. If you can't add value, if you can't add, you will not subtract. I like that too. We have some who are doing okay with this. We got an amen for that comment. If they aren't adding value to your life, you gotta go.
Right. Delete.
And then just agreeing with you. He will move you or move them. And we have to be careful that this does not trigger the negative to question 1. That was from Doreen, and yes. Tracy's doing better.
Awesome. Okay. That was good. That was good. Okay, so we continue to talk. Let's love on ourselves. So number 1, do we read empowering scriptures, books, and or listen to motivational, empowering podcasts, videos, conferences? I just put some examples up there because that's stuff to help feed your spirit and help you to feel good. Mm-hmm. Things that are empowering to your spirit. That's the bottom line. How are we doing in that area? Like I do the podcast, a lot of other people's podcasts, people I follow on YouTube, and I become like a follower, I guess. I'm following them every week. It's like I look for some people's YouTube videos. I look forward to seeing them every week. So there's those people that I found out that, you know what, when I listen to them, I feel inspired. I feel good. They reinforce my faith, my belief. So church is up in there too.
So majority of people are doing this well successfully. There's just a few people who didn't respond, but everyone's doing this well. Okay.
Yeah, I would say 8-2 for myself. Mm-hmm. Number 2, identify positive traits within yourself. It's almost like the last one we asked, can you kind of identify your strengths and your value? Can you identify positive traits within yourself? So you can answer that in the chat too, and also put the doing well and okay.
Put what the positive trait is.
Yes.
Right? That's what we want to see.
Yes.
Because we getting A's real quick.
Practice
like
here.
Everyone is quick with the A.
This is so.
I want to see what the traits are.
Yes, so yes, list that. That's your assignment right now. We're going to practice it right now because like you said, some people we need to improve in this area. So positive trait within.
So Deidre shared she's open-minded.
She is.
That's the best. Adrian, I am kind and introspective. Toya, I am loving, intelligent, kind-hearted, and compassionate.
Aw.
Candace is action-oriented. I like that.
Okay.
Doreen, teaching and encouraging, listening, creative, innovative, positive. That's so true.
She's all of that.
Yes, she is.
I'm a witness.
Deidre is creative and understanding.
She is.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very. Okay. Those are good. Those are good. I'm not gonna list mine. Anyway, number 3.
A receptive, friendly, loving, encouraging, and creative was Tracy.
Okay. Yeah, she's that.
Did I read Adrian's?
She's that too. I know most of you people's in here. Other people I picked
so it's all on point.
Some people I picked up their spirit.
Speaking life no matter what is.
Amen. Yep.
Sure.
Okay, number 3, spend quality time engaging in fun activities alone, enjoying yourself first. This is all esteem and loving on ourselves. So do we do that?
We got the A's. The A's is popping up like, yes. A.
How are we doing that? Look, I should say, how are we doing that?
Yeah, right? Yes, indeed. Imminent empty nester. Yes.
Okay.
That's wonderful. Ain't that nice? All A's. That's wonderful.
Some of us don't have a choice. I'm single. So I had to learn to love myself anyway. So I thank God for that. So I have a good time by myself. Sometimes the best time. I can laugh, hee ha, loud as I want. Not upsetting anybody else. I can talk back into the movie back and forth.
Deidre said crab legs by myself.
Oh, I just had that, Deidre.
It's good when you don't gotta share, right?
I had some 2 weeks in a row or 3 weeks, maybe. Yes, honey.
Toya said she loves her me time. And one of the things you said, sometimes people have no choice but to do it.
Right.
And the thing about it is some people have no choice but to do it, but they don't know how to enjoy it.
Right.
So it's great that everyone in the group, they are enjoying it. Candace says introverts enjoy time. I'm good. That's right, Candace. I'm high-fiving you.
All right, so now I'm going to unshare my screen, and Kelly's going to do this.
Oh, relax, relate, release?
Yes. This might be the last one or one before the last. Ooh, I can fully see the chat room. Awesome. Relax, relate, release. Relax, relate. Y'all see that picture I put up there?
Okay, so.
Okay.
Relax, release, release.
I wanted to see that video.
That's for me because it starts with take naps. How often are we taking naps, sitting still or laying down with lights off on low, or going on retreats or vacation? And I like this because, even if you want to take a nap and you...
I'm sorry. No, you went by the background. I like the image real quick with what's her name? And Debbie Allen.
Oh.
Yes, that's where I get that from. Relax, relate. Okay, I'm done now.
Everyone do it.
Right. Relax, relate, release. Relax, something like that. Anyway.
So, taking naps, sitting still, with laying down with the lights off or low, going on retreats or vacations. And sometimes, we may say, I want to sleep, and we can't. But it's okay. Can we still just lay there with the lights down low and just allow our body to relax? How are we doing with that one?
Oh, Candace said C. Doreen C. Doreen is busy. Mm-hmm. Tracy said A. Relax, relate, release. Teacher said A.
Oh, that's good. I need to improve also. So I completely understand, especially if you have a lot going on. But I do also recognize the importance of just stopping right where you are for a moment. And this is where you can connect some of the skills. So, we talked about the breathing exercise. So you can just stop. sit still for a second and just take a deep breath. And even if you can do that, it will definitely change how you're feeling throughout the day. You won't be as stressed. You won't be as tense. You won't be as overwhelmed by the end of the day if you start to do this throughout your day. Just being still and being still and closing your eyes, because we may not be in a place where we can actually lay down or, really completely relax. If we can even if it's for 2 or 3 minutes, if you start to implement it, I'm telling you, you will start to feel a difference.
And let me tell you, I would love to take naps, but because I'm not proclaiming stuff and claiming, but I'm not easy to like fall right to sleep and predict my nap. Like some people go, okay, I'm going to take a nap. I don't do that. But what helps me, I can't plan it. If I sit still for a moment, like say in a chair, then I may take that nap naturally. So I can't always plan it. I know that maybe somebody else like that too, where they just not a napper, but sometimes I do take it, but I wish I could do it more often because it does rejuvenate and give your brain a chance to kind of, work things out and you relax a minute. But yeah, it's like, man, I'm envy of people who can just take their naps every day. I really have a problem with my naps are never, Doreen said my naps are never naps. I wake up 2 hours later. Ooh, I need that. I need that nap.
Me too.
You can do the half-hour one. I do that. Deidre said it happens each afternoon, but I have to lay down right. Then before it passes me over, I don't sleep much. Okay, we kind of understand wavelength.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'll move on to the next one.
Great answer. I'm sorry. Adrian said, isn't 2 hours considered a nap? And she got a lot of question marks, Doreen. Toya, she laughing. That's a rest. That's a real good nap, though.
So the second one, how are we doing with taking breaks from social media and or overstimulating activities or people? So that can be the reason why, although we may say we want to take a break, we have the TV on, we're going through our phone, we're scrolling, we're checking on emails. They talk about that blue light from the phones and how that naturally will keep you awake, whether you realize it or not. So you're like, why can't I relax? Well, I'm just going to scroll through my emails until I get tired. I'll just scroll through social media until I get tired. But you're actually keeping yourself up by doing that. And then also with everything that's going on, sometimes you can't control what you see on your feed. So you may be trying to relax, but somebody wants to now repost what Trump spoke on. That just now aggravated your whole spirit, and you can't go to sleep now because so sometimes it's just good to just put the phone down, turn the TV off, and just have a moment to yourself. How are we doing with this?
So what had happened is it's difficult because a lot of us, there's a lot more people now working from home, starting their own business, they side hustle. So it's like we need to be the busiest, but you have to find, like I said in the beginning of this, put yourself on your calendar, your to-do list, me time. Like Kelly said, it could just be 30 minutes, a half hour, an hour, just taking a mental break. I do it sometime. I need to probably do it more, but it's like I'm trying to stay on top of stuff because when this thing is over, I want to come out with better and more. But I've learned, agency, I take my breaks. So I'm watching I may binge something, relax. Like I said, sit on the couch and fall asleep naturally or something like that. Don't turn the phone on. I'll put it on silent, Kelly. That's what I do. I'll just turn up the volume so that way I won't be so quick to respond to a notification because my notifications go off.
And I was going to say that, one of the things that I tell a lot of times, not only clients, but staff, I'm like, you do not have to answer every time your phone goes off. You do not have to jump and see every notification. So sometimes that may mean, like you said, shut off the notification because it's just a natural thing for us to do. And then even though you say, I'm not going to answer it, you can't really sleep because you're like, I wonder who that was. What if it was important? What was that? What if that was something I was waiting for? So sometimes just shutting it off for that period of time. Is helpful. And some people, again, it's about restructuring your days, especially if you're working from home now and that's not what you were doing before. So it's about changing your, when you have a 9 to 5, you're like, okay, if I have that type of job where I'm off at 5, then people know they should not be calling your phone at 5:05 to tell you work-related stuff. You can implement the same thing if you're working from home, whatever you want your business hours to be. And even if you want to be available, say 24 hours a day, you still can put aside that time where I have my lunchtime during this hour out the day. I'm on lunch. I'm not receiving calls at this time. And the same thing, I also need my downtime between this particular time, whether it be for an hour, 2 hours. You shut your phone off and people will know that they cannot contact you at this time. We used to do it back in the days when people used to watch TV more. You know, you're like, my show coming on. Everybody know don't call you when that show's on, right? You know, back in the days, you know, Dynasty's coming on. Don't turn, nobody call her because Dynasty's coming on. We need to start to implement things back into our life, you know, the same way, but not for a show, but just for us to be able to have that peace.
Right.
So what are you doing with that?
Somebody responded, I'm up naturally every day at 6. Yes, 2 hours is a nappy. That was deep. Toya said B, doing okay. Tracy says actually 1:30 are sleep cycles. Oh, some more responses. Let me click on.
Okay.
Adrian, that's a qualifying thing. Laugh out loud. Toya, I am too available to my friends and family. I am one of those people who people reach out. See, we here.
Toya, we here.
Whenever they need me, even if it is at weird hours. And Adrian said,
Toya, you have to put a stop to it, because you know what? I've shared this before. I shared this. You know, it's about time for us. This is the year of being selfish, because people are taking advantage of us. You are not being a friend to me like I am being a friend to you. I am courteous. I am thoughtful. I say I'm not going to call you at 4 a.m. and send you a text or just to see what you're doing, or I don't do that. But you don't care. You know what I do. You know I need a break, and you continue to do that to me. So guess what? Now I'm gonna take offense to it. So I have to preserve my health. And if you don't care about me, I have to care about myself more, and just shut them off. And because I changed the way that I think about it, it makes me a little bit more comfortable in not responding to certain people. Because I used to have a hard time, and I'm like, but they really need me, and everybody's not the same. And so I have to, and I'm like, you know what? No, that's wrong, because just like they should be there for me too. And they should understand that this is too much, especially if they see that you sound tired or they're waking you up. You don't have to say it. If they're waking you up every night, they should know that that affects you and that impacts you. So if you're not thinking about it, you know what? Now I'm gonna have an attitude, and that's what works for me. I take a little offense to it. So it makes it a little bit easier for me to be like, you know what? I'm not gonna be as accessible. And when I'm ready to be bothered with you, then I'll be bothered with you. I'm gonna call you back between the hours that work for me. Sometimes it's about time. We gotta get selfish, because we have to take care of ourselves. And especially with what's going on right now, we need our rest. We need to build up our immune system. Our body needs to rejuvenate. We need everything to work properly. And if we're not resting and stopping and taking a break, then we're not able to do that. And we are body. Stress breaks down your body. It breaks down your organs. It breaks down everything. And although it's our friends and family, and they may not realize it, because we are now aware of it, we have to start to implement the things in our life to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves and we're protecting ourselves. So that means, you know what, I'm not answering. I'm turning my phone off by a certain time. You know what I do? I block people after a certain time. After a certain time, whatever they send me is not going to get through. I don't do it for everybody, because there's some people who are going to respect my time, but there are people who don't. And so those people are blocked. So I don't see it until I get up in the morning and I actually check to see if I missed a call or I missed a text message or something like that. Technology is wonderful. It helps you with blocking people, and they don't even realize it. And you can block them how you want to block them.
Right. I'm glad you said that, Kelly, because even I was thinking about how it goes back to learning to say no, and even being assertive and learning how to communicate. When people start to see, you know, like, Cheryl, it's like the movie Diary of a Mad Black Woman, when she said, oh, Helen has left. Man, I'm like, I've learned to communicate, and I learned from other people who was way more assertive than I was when I was younger, to communicate. If they say, oh, I was trying to reach you, and I'll say, oh yeah, I was taking my nap, my rest, and kind of letting them know that, kind of in an indirect way, letting other people know I need my time, or I'm busy too, I'm not expendable, you know. And then you train other people to treat you a certain way too. So that's a practice we have to do. Doreen had to go. She had another call. She said, thank you. Deetra said, I'm trying to live and live well. It's thrive time.
That's right.
Yes,
I like that. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna start saying that. It's thrive time.
And Deetra said, yes, absolutely right, Kelly. They act as if you've thrown a brick in their face. Oh well, gosh, that used to be me. Got tired, draining, straight depletion. And I saw that Candace threw some hands up there. Tracy got some. Oh, Tracy got target, like hit around the target. And Toya was with it too. Yep. All right.
And so the next one, deep breathing. Cheryl spoke about this earlier. I've spoken about it also. We see it always come back to that breathing. I'm telling you, the breathing helps. It really does. Do deep breathing. Cheryl has a box at the bottom of this screen. I don't know if you see it. It breaks it down. Inhale 4. You hold it for 4 seconds and you exhale for 4. So you're inhaling through your mouth and then you're exhaling. So it says, and let's do it since we're all here right now. Sit comfortable and straight. Put your feet flat on the floor. Eyes closed or focus on something therapeutic or calming. And then breathe in deep, slowly through your nose. Count to 5 to 10 seconds. And then exhale slowly out of your mouth. And just repeat this. And there's the box breathing method that's listed below. And again, I said this before, there are many different apps that can help you with it. A lot of people post it because I've even posted it on my page. There's like this circle that makes you breathe in and breathe out. There are different things to do it. How are we doing? Do we take a minute and just stop and take a deep breath?
Right, exactly. We pressing this because it's something we really need to do.
Are we doing well? How are we doing?
Waiting for some answers.
Are people breathing?
I see an A so far.
And you know, we keep talking about deep breathing. So this is my challenge to everyone who's in here. For the next week, please take a time out of your day to stop and just do deep breathing. Whether it be for a couple of minutes, whether it be however long, take the time out of your day for the rest of the week to stop whatever you're doing and practice some deep breathing. And you're all a part of the Facebook group. You all have the email. You follow Cheryl on social media. My social media account is listed. Let me know how you did, and let me know if you felt a response from it. It works. It may not be. And when I'm saying response, we don't want it to be this dramatic change, but there's a slight difference that you may feel in your day or what's going on.
Toya said, my Apple Watch is always reminding me to breathe, laugh out loud. Tracy said A. Kimberly, I was looking for your interaction. Kimberly said A. Okay. Deidre said Apple Watches alert you like blood pressure machine. That thing scared me. I thought, oh wow, this is an awesome feature. Adrian said, wow.
See, that's great.
I
have some Apple Watches. Oh, there's more. Okay, so continuing relaxing self-care. How often are we soaking, relaxing in a bath or a pool? For those of you that can fit in your bath, because you know, my
yeah,
you know, so like you know, it's an NA for me right now. But for those of you that can relax in your bath or a pool, how many of you are doing this?
I need to do it more. I haven't done it in a while. Wow. And I love taking baths, but I haven't done it in a while.
Shower, you frozen on my end.
Really? You hear me talking now?
No.
And you're frozen on my end. Need to get, oh man, back to end. And we near the end.
Yes. Are we,
okay,
so how are we doing with this? Are we doing okay?
So, all right, wait a minute now. Somebody said not enough. Somebody said, so used to getting in and getting out, no more kiddos interrupt. Somebody mentioned lavender, Epsom salt baths give me life. Yes, Toya. Adrian, cover, not covered, equal D. Okay. I need to get back to the bathroom. Tracy, I hear, oh, okay, she hears both.
So number 2, listen to music, podcasts, or binge on fun, positive, and relaxing films, TV shows. Cheryl shared this earlier in the workbook that this is something that she does. It helps her to relax. How are we doing with this?
A. Since COVID-19, no. D. Okay.
So I definitely would encourage everyone, even if it's just to listen to some music, you know, as you're going through your day, just to put it on for a second. I used to sleep with this, but one of the things that has helped is that while I am doing work, I try to at least have something playing in the background, whether it be music, a podcast. It may not have my complete attention, but it definitely does help a little bit. So that's just a recommendation for anyone else who may be having difficulty with that. And the third one is, how are we doing with reading books, writing, singing, or journaling?
Something.
Anything.
Do you?
I got to get better with that.
You deserve to take care. Right? Yes. Yes. B and C for me. Yeah, Angels, I was answering the wrong question. Lord. Tracy said A, C, and D. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, supposed to last question.
Yeah. I definitely got to get better.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this is near the end, guys. So we come in. Except I'm going to have to go and find I have to find where Kelly was. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Went to the end. There we go. So this is it, guys. We summoned it up. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you guys participated, and I hope you got something out of this, because practicing self-care is attractive because research and life experiences has taught myself and many of us that self-care increases motivation, boosts your confidence, improves relationships, builds self-esteem, promote healthy, positive feelings and thoughts from within, and helps you to become more mindful at valuing and loving yourself. You're not waiting for someone else to love on you. And so I got that from psychology. Well, no, that was me, but there's information I found on what I was saying that correlates self-esteem and self-care together in Psychology Today. For those of you who get the workbook, you'll be able to kind of find that information. And okay. And I did offer my services. I've been offering people 20% off if anybody want to do any kind of coaching with me. I do a lot of trauma-focused coaching, emotional wellness, as you can see, co-parenting, building healthy relationships and communication and all of that stuff. I did 20% off because of the whole pandemic thing, COVID-19, because there's a lot of people who's experiencing high anxiety. So even like coping skills and anger management, I've been working with people on as well. So if anybody feel like they need more help and support in this area, they can contact me. And I don't know if Kelly have availability for some coaching in this area. But that's what she said. I know she's got so much going on now. And you can follow me. You guys, most of you know where to follow me at. This is Kelly. She is the owner of, and she's building her practice, KB's Lighthouse. But you can find her on Instagram. She got some wonderful, inspirational, motivational messages. She's starting to do more videos now, and just a lot of stuff to deal with mental health, physical health, emotion, everything, every area. We both believe in being holistic. So just getting you to practice self-care in every area of your life and not neglecting ourselves anymore. We're not doing that anymore. So thank you guys so much. Let me unshare my screen. I hope you guys got a lot out of that. I'm so excited for those of you who showed up. Somebody said I missed the last question? That was me. Child, what was that? I don't know what that last question was. You talked about the music. I can't remember right now, but I'm so glad you guys took out your time, because I know it's a lot. We all got a lot of stuff going on, but we don't want to hold you longer. That's why we did it into 2 sessions. And the workbook will be is $2 if anybody want to purchase the workbook. And then that's for those of you who attended the workshop. And then it'll be $5 only. Maybe next week it'll be $5, but it's only $2 just for me putting it all together and everything. But I do appreciate you being here. You guys, you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
Yes, thank you for coming. Thank you for participating.
Take care, guys. Bye. Oh, wait, I'm trying to.